Oh, crap. I forgot to check. Shit. Somebody say something other than shit. Oh, okay, we're good.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's working. All right, gotta bring the volume up a bit.
I'm Batman.
No, you're not. All right, we are live, which means we need to spread the good word of the Writer Brothers around
PD,
to the
have
world.
you ever seen me and Batman in the same room?
Just, Adam West was probably the third and a half best.
Okay.
Anyway, what's up? What's your thing?
I was just saying.
You think you're still Batman. Great. So whatever you're smoking, be sure to bring it with you when you come to Key West.
Well, I'm just saying, if you haven't seen me and Batman in the same room at the same time,
just means I need to hit the vape pen harder. Yeah, I get it.
You are just not in the mood for fun today. That's what this is.
I am having counter fun. That's what this is.
You, my friend, are the moon.
It is part of the entertainment, information, intelligence podcast sworn duty to chase down information. That means we have to be counter information, which means, yes, you're having fun. I'm having counter fun.
No, you, sir, are quickly becoming the moon-faced assassin of joy.
Moon-faced? That's not a euphemism for
the moon-faced assassin of joy. Do with that what you will. I'm not sure you can do anything with it, and that's what makes it amazing.
How about I post on Facebook and YouTube about where to find tonight's entertainment, information, intelligence podcast. Tonight's entertainment. Oh shit! Double tracking.
There it was.
Let's see. All right, need to. Wrong button. Give me that window back, piece of crap. God, stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're gonna get the show underway here very shortly. We're sorry we got a little bit of a delay. Just some weather slowing the show down, but we're gonna get your podcast up and running, get it going. We're gonna hit that play button here very shortly, and once it gets all live promoted, you'll be able to hear some leaked audio over the next 10 minutes, and then we'll get the show started. We'll talk about Pluribus and all that other good stuff. But go ahead, sit tight, keeping the fasten seatbelt sign on. If you haven't gotten yourself an alcoholic beverage, please do so.
Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong flight.
No, you're not. Sit your ass back down.
Can I be the crazy lady on the flight that's like, you are not a real person, to the invisible person?
They're service cats, ma'am. You smell like a toilet.
Oh my god, that was such a good video. Is it like bad that I enjoy watching people lose their freaking minds occasionally?
I don't know. We all got our ways to cope with the existence of reality, and I look at those, shows and that stuff, and while I might personally find other ways to feel better about my existence, who am I to judge those who need that stuff? So I'm glad that, people's stupidity is out there for the internet and the world to see, because I think some people need it.
Yeah.
How are we ever going to learn who we're supposed to be if we don't see so many fun examples of what not to be?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like these people's purpose in the universe is to be a cautionary warning to others.
Yeah, they call it a bad example for a reason.
That's it.
I feel like more than anything, it's proof that all people are capable of a little wackadoodle. Especially when your threshold for wackadoodle is yelling on a plane. I feel like I would yell on a plane just because I thought it was funny.
Man, I so want to watch you get thrown out off an airline.
See, I feel like I would just be yelling nonsensical things. Like, I don't know, Parker and I's favorite game, penis.
Yes.
Because then when somebody goes, "Why did you say that?" I'm like, "Sorry, I pinched my penis." And they go, "Oh,
Hey. This is a family-friendly show. My grandma occasionally listens.
that's why I use the proper scientific term."
Ugh.
Well, Grandma, if you're watching,
You-
hi, Grandma.
You and your phallic excuses. Anyway, all right, let's see. 3, 2, 1, fire. All right, we now have 10 minutes until the show starts.
Okay. Oh man. So
That's a lot of. This is gonna be a lot of extra spent time. But you know what? It's. What did you say we're trying to do? Fudge. Flips. Fox paws.
The
Some kind. It's kind of
That's
word
good.
you were using before I hit play that you were trying to do, and I've said no. This is the Intelligence
paw?
Podcast. We have fun encounter fun. Oh, fun. That's it. I said it.
Fun.
Idiot.
Yes.
Ah. Me so dumb.
I mean, I'm not.
We need to
gonna
get. All right.
argue
So I
with
need
you.
to undumb myself and figure out how to get 100 followers on the Facebook so we can just stream straight to the page.
to the Book of
John,
Faces.
I need you to figure out the marketing scheme on that one. Really? Really? You're the guy who did the marketing and you can't marketing?
I didn't do marketing.
Oh, that's right. You tried and failed miserably at it. Shit. I forgot.
I didn't fail miserably.
Sorry. Failed
I told
adequately.
you no, and I was like, all right, I'm just really bad at sales.
Hey, no way. Me too. That's why I'm in fax.
My thing with not doing the Facebook marketing and like getting that to go is because I'm kind of burning a lot of bridges on Facebook. It's one of my favorite poop time activities.
Outlier AI is offering me a $175 reward.
For doing what?
Let's see, continue to begin working on Aether. Why? Welcome to Cyberpunk, ladies and gentlemen, where AI now offers you money. No, wait. It's always been that way. It's called spam. Man, I always say the most intelligent shit before the show.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say
Wait.
AI.
Wait. You're shipping yourself with AI? Dude, no robo.
No. Yeah, it's tempting, man. Don't
How
know
about
if
you
you've
get
noticed,
those
but the dating market
clankers out of
sucks.
here? We don't serve their kind.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh man.
Sorry, I was quoting Star Wars: A New Hope, where we hope that
Racist.
clankers are no longer served.
Yeah, hope is no
Clankers.
longer served
Dude,
here.
that's a very derogatory term.
Hey, I know what they did to
You
my
and your
boy.
frickin' just racism tonight, boy.
Look, it's
Boy.
not racism, it's technologism.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what the term is. You don't
John wants to
technically-
bang a robot.
No. I'm saying no.
Yeah, we're all saying no robo.
No robo,
Yeah, no
except
robo.
some.
We don't serve their kind in this establishment.
We do not do robots except when we do.
Oh man.
Honestly,
Gee,
I
why
would
do we
rather
only
have a vendor
379
unit,
subscribers?
like
I don't
something
know.
funny rather than something like occasional for use. Like Bender from Futurama, where it's a lot more like an actual social bot, even though he's an antisocial
Hey,
bot hanging out.
Speaking of
with an
antisocial, can you
player.
be an antisocial man and do a sound check?
I'm listening right now.
Oh,
Mic check. Check
can we sound good? So you're listening to us delayed in your head. You're listening to our own Shit, you might actually be on the spectrum.
Welcome to my life. Mostly because when I talk, I can't hear myself think.
Oh, so you just need a drone following you around in third person, replaying the last 30 seconds of your life constantly. And then you can pick.
Dude, I would just be hitting pillars and going, oh, that's why I did it.
Well, that's one way to learn. Oh my
I'm
gosh,
not
the guy
saying I-
disappears
Well,
in and out on our video. It's because the quality's shit.
Man, you know, you're part of the show, and sometimes you go, am I a member of the show or am I babysitting the show?
Oh, okay, thanks,
And you
Dad.
remember, nobody paid you to be a
Dad-a-rone.
babysitter, so join in.
Oh man.
What's the point of hanging out with your friends if you don't goof off a lot?
Well, that's it. Oh,
The
people
only
have
way to hang
downloaded
out.
my
Honestly,
videos.
I feel like doing anything other than goofing off just makes life too serious, and that's not how hanging out with your friends is.
Man, that's, literally what I did today on the radio. The Nielsen rated #1 show in all of South Florida, in the Florida Keys. The Hobie in the Afternoon Experiment on Will 99.5.
okay.
Shout out to Parker's other voice acting gig.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, where I'm an Amish kid.
Do you just tell them all the secrets about growing up homeschooled?
We haven't gotten there yet, but that's
Oh,
probably where
God,
it's
dude.
going to eventually lead.
No, honestly, you just have to casually drop it like it's no big deal, and watch as the city folk implode with fear.
Oh, and he's a
So
Jersey boy,
funny.
too. Like,
Oh, dude, he's never met an actual homeschool kid. That would be so funny.
Oh,
And you got to do it mid like conversation on the show. Otherwise, you're wasting a perfect opportunity for him to get a jump scare.
Oi.
no, if anything, I need to be taking more advice from him.
No, dude, take all the advice from him. I'm just telling you, it's so funny when city folk find out that you're homeschooled, especially if they've known you a while and didn't know that part yet.
Yeah, they're like,
When you
really?
casually
Actually, no.
drop
With where
it-
I live, that's like par for the course down here, bro. Like, you need to come home, John, and so do you,
No.
Corion.
More like if you said it's from Jersey, that's the big one. It's like the actual children that grew up as adults.
Dude, home is Eisenach, Austria.
Home is where P.D. York is. That's where home is.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. All other
Austria?
family
Really? I
got
mean,
it
I'd go
down
visit you
low.
there. At least they make
Home
their
is
people
where the
have
heart
guns.
is, and the heart
No,
is
wait,
where
that's
my boys
Switzerland.
are.
Your next door neighbor.
Switzerland does that. Whenever Austrians have guns, the rest of the Europe gets really nervous.
Gee, I wonder why.
Me too, honestly. Oh man. There we go. One of my friends posted that one of his friends asked for a spice rack, so we got a whole bunch of Spice Girl outfits on Barbies and put them on a shelf for him. I was like, "Here, spice rack."
Nice.
Clever, clever, clever.
There we go. So, heard rumors that Sparrow's going to start answering those questions from the QA real soon.
Nice.
What do you guys think about that movie, Age of Disclosure?
I think it is very, very interesting. It is worth checking out. The other one that I would, the other thing that I would check out is, did you notice how they?
Tonight, we're going to catch up on everything we need to with Apple TV's Pluribus, and then we're going to talk about a couple more episodes in Volume 3 of Visions, as well as everything swirling in the toilet of Hollywood on the Entertainment Information Podcast. And welcome once again to your information-chasing home, the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers. I am, of course, Mr. Percival Dreadnought, joined by Mr. Pollo Zapatos, my younger brother who lives 2 hours behind. That's why he gets a little shout-out for the mountain time. What time is it there right now?
6:44.
In the PM, correct?
Si, senor.
Yeah, but what's the feels like time? Because here, it's 8, but I'm like, man, bedtime.
Oh,
It's
dude, it's
almost
been
midnight.
10 o'clock since 4 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. We are still recovering from the daylight savings because we are still in the beginning of the Decembers, which means it's our long trudge to the sun, you know, not setting stupid early again. And yeah, still waiting to get to that, but need to get the music going before it completely dissolves away. I actually think I might have actually transitioned almost perfectly this time. Holy crap. I'm actually doing okay. Holy crap, we've got a competent show going on, people. Let's try to screw it up. Corion, what's going on? What's the feels like time up where you're at? Because it's got to be like, what, 3 degrees or some
3
cold
degrees would
temperature?
be nice and warm.
Right, 'cause you
let me
guys
see if
read temperature like weird.
Well, let me see if I can put it in terms of freedom units for you.
Let's drink a beer on the air. Anyway.
Here we go. So, in freedom units, it's currently 26.6. So, you know, pretty warm. It's still barbecue weather here. You know, I just recently
26,
switched to
remember
long
that?
pants.
No, H. Marie doesn't remember. She's actually enjoying an evening off because she needs it. She's going to work 5 days again this week, so
Yeah.
Quite the trooper. All right, you people are here to be entertained, and somewhat that's going to try and happen tonight, obviously. Let's go ahead and open up with some numbers. The box offices got us coming in strong. That's the wrong button. Where are we at here? With Zootopia 2. Rules Thanksgiving with $158 million US. Opening record smashing 560 million globally. Really? The only movies to go watch on Thanksgiving? That's a sequel to a beloved animated movie. Actually, I don't know. Did you guys ever watch the original? I think I only caught parts of it. And
I have a
You
daughter. I
almost had
watched
the
it.
perfect description, a sequel to the beloved Shakira music video.
Yeah, pretty
sequel
much,
to
right?
the beloved Shakira music video. All right, I like that.
Honestly, that's the whole reason I watched it the first time, and I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah. Thanks to an optimistic rabbit and wily red fox, and don't forget about the Witches of Oz, Thanksgiving box office was indeed a win for both theater owners and animated family films. Disney's critical and audience darling Zootopia 2 led the parade with a near best 5-day North American start of $158 million and an astonishing $401.5 million overseas, for a record-smashing global start of $559.5 million. According to Monday actuals. That's ahead of Sunday's estimated $556 million worldwide launch. Wow. That's, I mean, yeah, that is a good sign for cinema, that pulling in that much during slow season. You know, this is typically the time when we don't have box office bangers like Oppenheimer. But this year, were there even any box office bangers worth talking about? 'Cause I don't remember going
I mean,
to
the
see
Superman movie was pretty good. Fantastic Four was pretty good.
honestly,
There were a few.
Superman sucked as a Superman movie, but as a Justice League movie, it was okay. John's over there like, yes. No, I'm not converting back to the Church of Snyder.
Superman was awesome. I thought Fantastic Four was bubkiss.
That's what I heard.
I
But
love
I didn't
Superman.
watch it, so I don't know.
I just recently watched it, and I could not stand Fantastic Four. Honestly, like, they went for a more cartoon reality TV show. Like, I felt like I was watching New Girl with superhero costumes and not, like, the Fantastic Four. And then it just smash cut to, like, space travel and stuff. And I was like, God, this just feels like a yank. Not like something I want to watch. And then we went back and watched the old ones. Somehow better.
Yeah, I mean,
Not good, but somehow better.
yeah, the first big one, I think. Let's see. I think it's hard to say like what I consider the modern superhero movie era for me truly begins with Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and the Batman Begins with Christian Bale. Those are, I think, the really like we could have had. Oh man, for a Justice League, we could have had Bale and we could have had freaking Brandon Routh. But anyway, that's a
But you
random.
couldn't have Bale because, like, the biggest thing with Bale Batman, if you go back and watch it, there is no room for anybody else. Like, they picked such a good Gordon because that dude is carrying the rest of the plot on his shoulders while Batman punches it down. And
Pretty
I
much.
love those movies. But, like, when you really watch Batman as, like, an actual character drama, it is so sad. And it
Yeah.
is hard to be like, yeah, you go get them bats. You can get the bad guys that hurt your family and your city. Like, you just kind of feel sad. But when you watch Batman and Justice League, that's why I liked Ben Affleck. Like, he knew his role was to be the dark, brooding guy, and he nailed that. I just think he's also Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Like, he was too big to be a subtle, brooding Batman. Like, I
Well,
feel like
I think
Ryan Gosling would have made a better Batman in that instance, just because we've seen Ryan Gosling play the Shadow before. But
Well,
even Christian Bale stood out from the shadows.
Well, I mean, to your point here, I think the inherent problem with making Batman the guy who's forming the Justice League is he has to be a lot less of a loner than he's typically presented as. I think having Superman found the League or Wonder Woman founding the League is a lot better a solution to the problem.
Dude, I like the League forming because they keep showing up on multiple battles together, and eventually they start passing calls to each other, and then eventually they start actually coordinating, and then suddenly somebody sees all of them all at once and goes, hey, are you guys a group or something? And they're like, yeah, that's the Justice League, didn't we tell you? And then they're like, oh. Like, they walk into it more than they smack it out and sail it. Like, it goes against everything the DC superheroes are supposed to be. Like, they're supposed to be half human, half hero, where they hide their humanity and they hide their heroism when they're being human. And, like, that would mean for them to do, like, a campaign action, like, here's your application to join our league, goes against everything they stand for. Like, their whole group thing only works if they're on a spaceship to a destination, and now they talk about all of their adventures together as friends.
Yeah.
And we realize that
Yeah.
they've, like, bonded. But, like,
Yeah.
when you walk them in, like S.H.I.E.L.D. being started by the government and Nick Fury being the way
Yeah.
that he was,
Yeah.
felt literal. Like, it
Yeah.
felt like how the CIA recruits people.
So, yeah. Moving on to our next story, Macaulay Culkin pitches Home Alone. This is coming to us from Den of Geek. Macaulay Culkin pitches Home Alone Legacy sequel. 35 years ago, Kevin McAllister made his family disappear. Just like a pencil. Then 2 years later, he made his family disappear again, but now, in 2025, Kevin's ready to make his family reappear. At least, that's what star Macaulay Culkin has in mind. As part of his Nostalgia Night with Macaulay Culkin tour, the former child actor pitched a new Home Alone sequel, this one starring himself as an adult Kevin. I'm either a widower or a divorcee. I'm raising a kid and all that stuff, he mused. I'm working really hard and I'm not really paying enough attention to the kid is kind of getting miffed at me, and then I get locked out. Kevin's son won't let me in, and he's the one setting traps for me. On first glance, that's a pretty dark approach for the movie that's become an undisputed holiday classic. The McAllisters certainly had their problems, but neither of the original movies by Chris Columbus and John Hughes really dealt with suburban ennui gripping the parents. Even the threat of the two burglars who threatened to kill Kevin, either in his home or in the streets of New York, is played for slapstick laughs instead of actual terror, which in retrospect is a little weird. But that's because Home Alone is a kids movie and made for children who want to watch bad guys get bruised in the head without thinking about the consequences. Well, yeah, kids are weird. Like Culkin himself, those kids are now grown and thus approach Home Alone from a different perspective. Right, exactly. From the perspective of alcoholics struggling to make ends meet so we can keep shacks over our heads. Adult viewers take notice of how much the McAllisters gripe and insult each other, and how an income that allows for a gigantic house in the Chicago suburbs and regular family vacations doesn't soothe the bitterness they all clearly feel. Man, what an ungrateful group of people. In other words, a third sequel about Kevin is disappointed, or as a disappointed adult trying to connect with his kid, makes a lot of sense for the character we met back in the early 90s. Yes, and 1,000 gajillion % nuts. At least it makes more sense than any of the actual Home Alone sequels that you may or may not know actually exist. 4 additional Home Alone movies were released after Culkin left the franchise, including a third movie that features preteen Scarlett Johansson in its cast, a 4th movie that recasts Kevin with a different young actor, and the 2021 direct-to-Disney Plus entry Home Sweet Home Alone. These movies may have had many problems, but for Culkin the main issue may be how they misunderstand the central theme of the first 2 films, a theme he'd emphasize in the sequel he pitches. The house is some sort of metaphor for our relationship, he explained, making the adult Kevin's attempts to get inside a let back into son's heart kind of deal, even allowing that this idea is the closest elevator pitch that I have. Culkin allowed that he's not completely allergic to a Home Alone sequel if it's the right thing. I mean, not gonna get any disagreement from me on that one. So
no, I mean, I think if they're going to go with a sequel to it, they've got to start on it with what he's pitching there. So I do like that, but at the same time, I mean, I think this is one of those franchises that we should allow to pass on and just, fade away into the background of history. I don't think it needs any further sequels personally.
Yeah, I feel like the hardest part about it is the slapstick comedy, in that, like, it is child abandonment.
Right?
And so, like, for the stepdad to be coming home or the dad to be coming home, it's also kind of like child abandonment plus forcing yourself back in and, like, saying that kind of behavior is okay. And it's like, that's not really what Home Alone was about. If anything, the funnier story would be Kevin and his wife split up after their kids because Kevin just constantly is scared of Christmas for no, like, apparent reason. But that trauma got to him because it happened when he was so young. And so, like, he's always told this story that it was this big funny joke. But when you actually think about it, it's a really terrible mess. And so it ruins his future relationship with his wife and son. But then for some reason, the wife leaves the son home alone or leaves the son with a babysitter. on Christmas, and then because she has to go to work for her night job to support the family. So like going back to everything he said in this article, but then the babysitter leaves, and now Kevin, old dad, picks up his phone, and his ex-wife is calling him saying, hey, the babysitter's not there, but he's late. So he shows up at the house at midnight, and he tries to get into the house to help protect his son, to make sure somebody's watching him and all that stuff. But his son remembered all of his dad's Christmas stories. And so his dad runs through all the booby traps, showing that his son listened to him. But also, it's not as like, oh, this kid is home alone because his mom abandoned him on purpose or on accident. Instead, it's because the babysitter left early and mom's stuck at work. Let's make her a nurse so that like it's a guilt-free justification for her to prioritize work over her kid. And then suddenly Kevin is coming in to be a good dad, and now we get all of the slapstick humor of the old one. It is all the Kevin's the butt of the joke, but then at the resolution it's good job, kiddo, but here it's me, dad, not a robber.
All right, if you are like Top Hat Jay, who occasionally will grace us with his presence, then you'll probably like this next story. A missing Doctor Who episode may finally see the light of day. One of the great tragedies of Doctor Who's long history is that we can't actually watch all of it anymore. While nearly 900 episodes of the sci-fi classic have aired since the show first premiered in 1963, the BBC hasn't always been, let's just say, on top of its archival process. In fact, it actually used to ease, tape over, or even throw out previous broadcasts in the name of saving money on space and storage costs. This, frankly unbelievable process means that many classic-era Who episodes from the William Hartnell and Patrick Thoroton eras have been lost. A total of 97 episodes from the series' 6 years are still missing, leaving 26 stories incomplete. Jeez. What a disgusting mishandling of literature. Several of these episodes, The Underwater Menace, The Savages, The Celestial Toymaker, The Web of Fear, and more, have been recreated as animated specials. Audio recordings have survived from every episode, so it's a neat solution to this particular problem. But fans shouldn't give up on finding these lost classic episodes just yet. Many are believed to still exist in private collections, and it sounds as though a new discovery is closer than many expect. According to film collector John Franklin of the preservation organization Film is Fabulous, the group has solid leads about the location of some of these lost episodes appearing on the Doctor Who The Missing Episodes podcast. Franklin did his best to clarify some claims made on the group's Facebook page about the possibility of finding these lost treasures and dropped some hints at big things to come. Well, that sounds exciting if you're a Whovian. If you'd like to read more on that, check out denofgeek.com / missing Doctor Who episodes. Quick thoughts, gentlemen? 30 seconds.
I mean, I think it's cool they've figured out a way to revive some of these episodes back when the writing was good for Doctor Who, so I do like that. I like that they're kind of trying to take care of classic Who, because that's the only market left for Who at this point.
Pretty much. If Top Hat Jay was in the comments, probably would have had a thing or two to say, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Switching back to, keeping the phasers set to nostalgia, Ray Romano, Phil Rosenthal discuss emotional Everybody Loves Raymond reunion and their favorite Thanksgiving episodes. John, do you remember watching this show when we were kids?
Unfortunately.
Right? Like, it was like, what, on after Malcolm in the Middle or whatever, and I think it was more that our parents started just getting into it and watching it.
No, it was the one that was on after Frasier. You go Malcolm in the Middle, Frasier, and then Everybody Loves Raymond. But like, there was nothing else on the basic channel.
Because we didn't have the cables until like we were, entering our teenage years. So we had to play. What do they call that place? Outside. Yeah. So most of our childhood was spent in the outdoor region. So now we're making up for it by spending our 20s and late 20s and into our 30s in the safety of indoors. Corion, did you watch Everybody Loves Raymond? Was that a favorite show of yours? And of course,
It wasn't really a favorite show of mine. It was what happened to be on TV at the time.
yeah.
But the reason why I brought it up and I thought it was kind of interesting is, I mean, usually if they do a reunion of a show like that, they're trying to get either a sequel or something off the air, or off the ground and into the air, right? And so Everybody Loves Raymond sequel or reunion or reimagining or what have you is TV news, so I figured we should cover it.
Yeah, but I heard that that's all we're getting. That there isn't gonna be, they don't, it's just gonna be a reunion special, and it's gonna be one and done. That they don't want to turn it into a TV show. That's what I had heard anyway, from my other sources on this piece of news. So, unless there's love in the comments for Everybody Loves Raymond, we're gonna go ahead and move on to back to the Den of the Geek. George R. Martin calls out a controversial spider. That's right. If you are in the comments section watching this show right now, and you have a story you want us to talk about or chase down, you have a tip. That's not, if you have insider information, you claim to have some, please send us emails, thewriterbrothers@gmail.com. Poyo's going to check the email during the show to see if we get any tips. I'm going to keep, and then I'll put them on the show, if you've got tips. But if you've got comments or you want us to talk more about the article, you're like, now read the rest of the article, just say so in the comments and we'll do it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep moving on the news we like and want to keep talking about because this is a podcast. George R. Martin calls out a controversial Spider-Man story. Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming to theaters next year. Oh, yay. And a new big screen adventure starring Tom Holland. Yay. But even that movie can't distract from the comic book series One More Day, which preceded the storyline that inspired the new movie. It may almost be 2 full decades since One More Day released, but fans are still irritated about the conclusion of that story, in which Peter Parker makes a deal with the satanic Mephisto to save the life of his beloved Aunt May. All it cost was his marriage to Mary Jane. Oh, man. Is that where Tom Petty got the inspiration for that song? No, probably not.
No.
Those disgruntled fans include Game of Thrones author George R. Martin, who clearly has nothing better to do except, I don't know, finish your damn book, George. Of course, I should probably also finish my 2 books. Who expressed his irritation to Popverse. I do have frustrations with it too. I have to admit, he said, I don't like retcons. I don't like reboots. Yeah, right. Bullshit. Bullshit, George. If they were going to reboot Game of Thrones and actually do your books exactly as you want them with your endings, you would probably be like, oh, well, let me think about it. Yes, of course. But you've also got to finish your book first, like you said you were going to. I'm watching. I'm following a character or a superhero or something for years, sometimes decades, and then they come and say, oh no, none of that stuff happened. We're just going to start the whole thing. Well, not exactly.
No.
A reboot isn't intended. It's a new version of the story. It's a new.
Wait, continue where he goes on, because he's talking about retcons, and look at the one that pissed him off. It actually makes some sense.
Yeah, that always annoys the hell out of me. And when asked for an example, Martin just offered just one. Peter Parker married Mary Jane. One More Day definitely came out of an impulse to say, oh.
I said that, so to finish that, the reason why I say finish that is because, like, the part that he's complaining about is part of Peter's journey is trying to balance all 3 things, like being a son, being a person, being Spider-Man. And part of being a person is chasing down a lady named Mary Jane but like part of his whole story was that he was always chasing because he could never pick. He could never prioritize any of it, and that was part of this story. So like what George is saying is basically like, I don't like it when the character achieves something that was part of his character flaw, which it's like, all right, turns out George is just a major nerd like the rest of us. Like what he's complaining about is some stuff some high level nerds care about. He's not like caring about like what you were saying, if they were going to retcon Game of Thrones and just delete season 8 or delete any of the parts with dragons and try to say that that part was all myth. And like when Daenerys actually shows up, there are no dragons at the gate, and that's why she lost so bad. As it turns out, she was mostly working on propaganda. George would be like, "Yeah, that's the story I was trying to write."
Yeah.
Come to me, George, if you need finishing tips. I will make up anything you need to make it make sense.
Yes. If you have tips on how George R. R. Martin can finish his book, send us an email, thewriterbrothers@gmail.com.
Well, I'm not going to read his books because
Switching back
that's a
to
lot.
The Hollywood Reporter, if you are like the elusive EOP, as they go in our Discord, you are probably excited for Kill Bill. So we're going to read this article for you. Quentin
Nice.
Tarantino reveals why he revived Lost Chapter from Kill Bill for Fortnite collaboration. When Quentin Tarantino took a meeting with Fortnite, he had a hunch how it might go down. Showed up to the meeting thinking that they would want to license characters, so they want to get my ideas about what could be a fun thing to do, Tarantino explained in front of a capacity crowd gathered for a special Fortnite Now Playing event held at his own Vista Theater in Los Angeles on November 19th. But no, they had something else in mind. That something else, they very innocently asked me, do you have something else that's like 8 to 12 minutes long that could be good for our purposes? Now, they didn't say, can you make sure that your iconic characters were wrapped up inside of that? But that was implied. Fortunately for the folks at Fortnite, the filmmaker happened to have something buried deep in the first draft of Kill Bill that might be just what they were looking for to help them launch a new chapter of the blockbuster video games franchise. Titled The Lost Chapter, Yuki's Revenge, the project was pulled from the original script that Tarantino never filmed because, as he explained, we couldn't do it. It was just too crazy. It was just too much action. For reference, Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2 have a combined runtime of 4 hours and 41 minutes. That's it? People complain about clearly, these are people who have never attempted a Lotor Marathon director's cut extended editions. Yeah, just
Right?
like, come on. Oh, Volume 1 and 2 are 4 hours long. Oh, man. Turn of the King is 4.5 by itself. Or something like that. It's stupid long. But come on. It's like what? Almost a 12 hour. It's like 11 hours and 44 minutes for the extended edition. That's like a whole day.
Dude, Justice League
Day
is
of activity.
black. 4 hours and 20 minutes. Or 4 hours and 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Jeez. I've heard that they were long, but I didn't realize they were that short. Yuki's Revenge follows... Casinos. Now that's a long movie. Yuki's Revenge follows Yuki, the twin sister of Gogo Yubari, as she hunts down Uma Thurman's the bride to avenge her sister's death. Gogo, the bodyguard of Lucy Liu's Oren Ishii, was assassinated along with the Crazy 88 and Oren in a series of blood-soaked sequences from Volume 1. So Tarantino dusted off the draft, sent it over to Fortnite, and they were like, let's do this. And here we are. Oh, hey, there's a trailer. You guys want to watch the trailer?
Yo, let's do it.
Yuki?
Stay in your house and get down on the floor!
Kids
I
play that
mean,
game.
it's kind of funny.
I think it's hilarious that what was rated hard R when I was a kid is now teen violence.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. Tarantino was joined at the Vista by Thurman, who reprised her role as the bride of Yuki's Revenge, and Sean Fennessy, the Ringer's head of the content of the Big Picture podcast host, who moderated a conversation and introduced a series of clips. The audience was filled with Fortnite fans, press, influencers, and VIPs. I feel I've read enough on this story. Get more at the Hollywood Reporter. Den of Geek, Marvel
I'm going to be honest, though, real quick. This is something that we've been proving pretty much our whole lives, but video games have officially surpassed movies as a storytelling medium. Like, when Quentin Tarantino goes, yeah, we definitely can't film this, and Fortnite goes, yeah, I can definitely make this. That's when video games have officially surpassed it. Now it's just on writers and, game producers to pay writers to come in and tell these guys what to draw, because clearly they can draw anything.
Like the thing about it is it's so close to actually like you're on the right track.
No, but look at this is Fortnite. For you and I, if you're a gamer, we all know that this is one of the most watered down for teen video games there ever was.
It's Call of Duty for children, except
exactly, and
for children.
Quentin Tarantino was able to put his lost work into that franchise because they needed 12 minutes, and he couldn't hire actors to perform that much action and blow that much stuff up for 12 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about, is these guys can go in and they can make it look like a cartoon. But if you look at Elden Ring, if you look at Call of Duty, that's the most photorealistic video game of all time. If you just paid those guys to make literally any action thriller today,
yeah,
it could technically work. And that's what I mean by video games have surpassed movies, is movie directors are seeing exactly how good these CGI scenes can be and allowing their work to go into it. That's to me, that's the final early adopter. If the last people is the actual other industry moving into the gaming industry, even George R.R. Martin dipped his toe into Elden Ring. That's more of that, the quality that video games can become has only been limited by the people producing the games. Because they're not paying those quality writers, or they're not doing anything to incentivize those quality writers until now. And why is it Fortnite that's the one doing that? Why isn't it the guys over at Activision who have been in need of a big news story for almost a decade? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's just proof that all the gamers that said, look at how good this game is, and they were talking about Mario, and they were also talking about the story behind Mario or RuneScape, and they were talking about the story within RuneScape. They were right, and everybody that made fun of them could have invested if they hadn't spent so much time making fun of them.
Yeah. All right, we're going to skip the next. We're going to move on to a different story. 2025's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade gobbles up record 34.3 million viewers across NBC and Peacock. Well, guys, I think it's safe to say the tradition of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will be continuing for another year. Number of viewers tune in for NBC's coverage of the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on Thursday. The network said Friday that 34.3 million viewers tune in to coverage of the 99th annual parade across NBC and Peacock, according to preliminary Nielsen data. That marks its
biggest combined audience on record, outperforming last year's parade by 2.5 million viewers, an increase of 8%. I'm only disappointed I didn't get up to watch it.
Bro, I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan gets that every single episode he drops.
I mean,
Right, but you got to
yeah.
remember, traditional TV has been on a pretty steady and continuous decline for a long period of time. Seeing something
that's my
that
point.
convinces people to come back to it is pretty freaking good.
That's not convincing people to come back to it. I mean, yeah, it's up 18% from its last year, but like go back 20 years and it's down 175%. And that's where it's like, what did you guys do wrong? And everybody knows it's advertising. Everybody knows that it's literally the fact that you never invested in actually quality entertainment. You invested in quality ad packing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, why President Trump will never attack South Park. This one I kind of had part of a curious eyebrow raised on. Months after the second Trump administration took shape and the president's flurry of executive orders began to generate the chilling effects of potential authoritarianism, South Park fearlessly kicked off with an almost unbelievably shocking moment. Struggling through the desert, an actor portraying the President of the United States, lying naked and sunstroked, desperate to deliver America's voters from temptation, listened to an endorsement message from his tiny talking penis. I just read that. Months later, South Park's latest run now looks like it will conclude with the leader of the free world fathering the Antichrist via his extramarital affair with Satan. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a while to get around to that one.
It's so funny. It's so good. They
you
did a
watched
new
it?
rendition of Danger Zone. It's so funny. No, dude, this has been the running plot for season 28.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I've been laughing the entire time. I watch every episode as soon as I can.
In between, South Park's flapping head cutout depiction of Donald Trump, petulant, philandering, self-serving, and deceptive to all, has made clandestine attempts to abort his unborn child and bedded his VP in the Lincoln bedroom and then manipulated the media into believing footage of the tryst was a mere deep fake. In a political era defined by Trump's reactionary takedowns of anything and everything that disagrees with his worldview, bruises his ego, or contradicts the MAGA agenda, an acid-tongued post on X or fireball of a Truth Social post would be expected to land on the desks of South Park masterminds Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Yet, as was seen during Trump's first presidential term, when the hit show used its complex character Mr. Garrison as a stand-in for Trump, the president has been radio silent in response to what has become, without a doubt...
That is the most PC way to describe Mr. and Mrs. Garrison.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Without a doubt, his harshest, most controversial, and hands-down funniest lampoonings. At the same time, he appears to have gone to great lengths to decimate the late-night comics who jab at him every day, in a campaign that seems to have taken one scalp and nearly taken another. In fact, for a decade, Trump has not hesitated to launch midnight broadsides at everyone from Robert De Niro to Nordstrom. So, what makes South Park, which has enjoyed record-breaking viewership across its last two back-to-back seasons, so untouchable in the vengeful eyes of the leader of the free world? Comic and actor Patton Oswalt recently offered an opinion on this in an appearance of the Daily Beast's podcast, The Last Laugh. The anti-MAGA comic, whose new audio-only special opens with a mock disclaimer that to avoid the aforementioned authoritarian blowback, he is now a Trump loyalist, offered that blockbuster ratings and the almighty dollar are some of the few things that could keep Trump's claws from coming out. South Park not only does it make an insane amount of money, it also gets insane ratings, and Trump can only be so angry at that because what Trump ultimately will respect, even if it doesn't respect him, is something where the numbers are through the roof, and the money is through the roof. the comedian said, later adding, something that is as massive and as undeniable as South Park, both in quality, which people like you and I can see, but then in numbers and money, which Trump can see, he just falls silent. If Colbert was making South Park money and getting South Park eyes on him, Trump wouldn't know what to do. Oswald may be correct here. We know from experience that the president has an obsession with ratings. He's quick to point out real or perceived declines in ratings and audience share when blasting his foes, whether they are subject to Nielsen analysis or not. Hell, he even said this himself in a candid campaign trail interview last year, telling a reporter, there's only one thing that matters, ratings. You can be nice, or you can be mean, you can be evil, you can be horrible, you can be crude or elegant. If you don't have ratings, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sadly, he's fucking correct. The logic certainly applies to Trump's late-night takedown. The cornerstone of his tirades against Jimmy Kimmel was the declining rating of his ABC show. The argument was also made by the president as CBS announced the shuttering of Stephen Colbert's show, but in his unique way, Trump managed to claim Colbert had low ratings, and in the same breath indicate he actually has the best late-night numbers. South Park's ratings in the Trump administration-centric latest seasons have been their best. Season 27 premiere episode drew the highest audience for a premiere episode since 1999 at 5.9 million viewers across Comedy Central and Paramount Plus in its first 3 days. The second episode, featuring a plastic surgery-ravaged Kristi Noem shooting puppies, garnered an even greater increase in initial air views on Comedy Central, nearly doubling the premiere's audience with 838,000 live viewers, and cross-platform viewership hitting 6.2 million over 3 days. Those episodes also premiered in the days after it became clear that Parker and Stone had entered the billionaire class via the major streaming deal they'd inked with Paramount, which includes an annual payment of $250 million for the production of new South Park content and a share of the streaming rights. While money certainly respects money in Trumpland, there's more to Trump's radio silence here than these particular numbers. It's hard to believe that the sheer respect for popularity alone would keep at bay the wrath of Trump, who once called a woman he slept with horseface on his closely watched Twitter account after watching repeated depictions of his manhood as a micropenis. Like much of his second chapter in the White House, much more strategy is at play. During his run as the 45th president, Trump and the rest of the world learned of the unique power his posts on X can hold. They are, at their most pointed and powerful, the equivalent of throwing a lit match into the fireworks factory. Ratings will jump, clips will recirculate to reach viral status, and podcasts will have to splice in extra segments of his words to hit their target as intended. Oh, so if words hit their target as intended. In fact, in the world of comedy, a direct hit from Trump could be considered a career highlight, a notion that's been shared by several late-night hosts. So when Trump doesn't engage, it isn't restraint, but a refusal to allow that power to be weaponized in a battle he won't win. For South Park, a show produced under tight deadlines to keep the satire as up to the moment as possible, entering such a fight with a sitting president is a coveted scenario. Parker and Stone have built an empire on goading the powerful into reacting, so a feud with Trump would be their personal Super Bowl. Trump and his camp certainly know this and refuse to take any bait. It's a pattern we've seen before with this president and other critical institutions and individuals who hold a similar power rooted in sharp, popular satire. As South Park once said, The Simpsons already did it. That other beloved animated series has had a decades-long relationship with Trump that has ranged from a prophetic gag about a future President Trump made way back in 2000 to its more recent depictions of a Trump-led, gleefully dystopian nation. But The Simpsons is now so enshrined in pop culture that even Trump gets that the optics of picking a fight with America's longest-running sitcom has no upside. Without an easy-to-smash foe or potential voters to win over, why take the risk? And he may even recall that the mouth-touted battle between Bart Simpson and Bill Cosby in the early 1990s left one of the two standing, and the winner had a slingshot in his back pocket. Looking elsewhere at the moments where Trump has refused to unleash or enter the ring indicates that he has a sharp awareness of where the mines lie on the battlefield. John Oliver's Make Donald Trump Again segment was a masterstroke of a comedic takedown that combined journalism and performance art. Eminem's freestyle The Storm went viral globally within hours and ignited days of cable coverage and discourse. And stand-up favorites Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle have landed blows so sharp they ricocheted across the web for weeks. Trump's silence on these cutting and resonating blows to his ego is telling. He knows that attacking a comedian only enlarges their spotlight. He is as media savvy as he is vengeful, but he seems to understand the symmetry between politics and comedy. A shot fired in one arena is a standing ovation or a 5-year billionaire making contract. So yeah,
I don't understand what the point of the article was. Was this like?
I think what they're basically trying to say is that while Trump may not, whether you like Trump or not, we can all admit he does know what he's doing when it comes to marketing and hype, and realizing that empowering Trey and empowering the guys who run South Park to go after him further than this is only going to result in more fandom for them. So not giving it oxygen is the best strategy.
I think people really just like to give credit even when they're trying to do a takedown thing, because to me, I think he's never watched South Park. So like he's never seen this, and if somebody tried to show it to him on a phone, he'd go, "Oh, that's a cartoon," and not listen. But like if Fox and Friends talked about this season every day for a week, for a fact he would write about it. He would say something about it. He would go off on it. And I think it is literally that. He doesn't know it exists. And I think that's the funnier thing about this, is that the more people keep giving him credit for things that there's no way he's awake enough to be paying attention to. Like South Park is a classic for people under 50, not over 70. Right? And it's not as poignant for the over 70 because the over 70 love Dudley Do-Right and all of those really just corny television shows, and they switched over to Fox and Friends because at least Fox and Friends complains about those corny shows not still existing. Right? And that's because they're going after the geriatric class, see the ads that they produce. Whereas Comedy Central still thinks that they're the young kid in high school, but in reality, they're Steve Buscemi with a skateboard saying, "What's up, kids?" And that's where, like, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are not Comedy Central. They have been the same thing this entire time, which is, we're going to talk shit about this week's events. And they've just been doing that for decades. It turns out that that's a version of a comedy show. Like that's what Dave Chappelle tried to do with his skit comedy too, but then Comedy Central didn't see it, but they did see it with South Park. And like The Simpsons doesn't even run on the same cut time as South Park, where South Park literally starts production Monday and finishes production at showtime whenever it's due. And that week, that's a whole different policy that has led to a more tractionable, like, they've had way more traction staying in the zeitgeist because they never left the zeitgeist. Like, everybody else either found their niche and just figured out how to make it complex enough to continue building onto it, or they keep flip-flopping based on the political winds, and they're trying to figure out how to survive when somebody like Donald Trump will attack them because he heard something you said on Fox and Friends.
Right.
And it's like, well, if you dodge Fox and Friends by being South Park, because Fox and Friends legally can't talk about South Park without offending their Jesus. And that's why they've never talked about it. That's why Trump doesn't know about it. And it turns out that, like, maybe if you guys really want to pick this fight, you convince Fox and Friends to talk about it.
Well, they are sending
That's
Fox
when
and
it
Friends
gets
to
funny,
talk about
because
it.
that's
Hegseth is literally playing soldier right now. So.
Oh, dude, you have to watch the last episode. Oh my gosh, they did a rendition of Danger Zone, and it's all about Pete Hegseth. It's so funny.
Can't wait. All right. We almost got evil Kirk on Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah,
it's
this
been
was
on-
interesting.
Yeah, from the Den of Geek. Thank you for being our unofficial sponsor tonight, as well as the Hollywood Reporter. Given that it's been on the air for almost 60 years at this point, oh, that's it, it's not a surprise that Star Trek has a large amount of the behind-the-scenes lore surrounding it. Whether it's original casting decisions that might have been, or potential spin-offs that never happened, Trekkies have plenty of options to consider when it comes to the roads not taken. But one of the most famous involves one of the franchise's most beloved performers. Over a decade after his last appearance as James T. Kirk in the film Star Trek Generations, William Shatner almost ended up on the spin-off Star Trek Enterprise. But since Enterprise technically takes place well before Kirk's era, he wouldn't have been playing the famous starship captain, but rather his Dark Mirror universe counterpart, Tiberius Kirk. And his return would not have only been a fun bit of fan service, but it also would have been an answer to some lingering questions about the Star Trek The Original Series episode Mirror Mirror along the way. Well, the fact that the late showrunner Manny Coto wanted to bring Shatner aboard to help boost the series' flaggering Season 4 ratings is fairly known among fans. We now have a few more details of what his return would have involved thanks to TrekMovie.com podcast interview with former Enterprise writer-producer Mike Sussman. Manny, one of the ideas he put on the board of the beginning of Season 4 was that he wanted to do a Mirror Universe episode, preferably a two-parter. Sussman told Trek Movie's All Access Star Trek podcast. There was a long discussion about getting Bill Shatner on the show. We were trying for months to make it happen, but ultimately the network or the studio wouldn't meet his quote. Well, that's too bad, because honestly, that might have been the thing that could have actually saved Enterprise Season 4.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably have to do a watch through of that eventually. We gotta get through DS9 again and get through, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I mean, Shatner's last appearance being in Generations really is just a kick in the nutsack. Of course, Generations is just a kick in the nutsack as a movie because, well, like I have defended on the video that's on this very channel, Generations is the end, is the death of Star Trek, the end of the official Roddenberry era of Star Trek.
Okay.
And that's okay. It is okay. I agree. What has happened, and we can't undo the past, and that's okay. It's a timeless piece of literature, and truly, I don't think we'll be going anywhere. Even, I think it's funny, even in Futurama, when Fry's like, it's as relevant as ever, but it takes place 800 years in the past. It's like, so?
I mean, okay, my personal opinion is actually that Generations was not a terrible movie. Okay?
I got a video for you on this very channel for you to consider. Or we should review it sometime.
I know. I'm going to say that I think why it failed as a movie is it forgot what Star Trek movies are supposed to be about, which is they're supposed to be about action as opposed to quiet introspection. Save that for episodes. That's my opinion. Okay?
It fails because it everything that we have complained about on this channel about Kurtzman's Star Trek, which thankfully sounds like it's coming to an end. If reports of the new Star Trek movie are to be believed, which apparently they are. Then, everything we have said, even in the 2009 Trek, and everything that everybody complains about on Enterprise, and everything that Voyager does wrong, and all this shit, it all goes back to Generations. Everything. The cultural vandalism, the just plot device that magically makes everybody stupid for no reason just so plot can happen. It is all ham-fisted. It just forgets what it was supposed to be. Generations has an identity crisis. That's why. It's like, it's Star Trek face. That's the best way I can put it, is it really tries. And And yeah, they really try with it, but the writing is where it fails. That's the failure, is in the writing. It's in the plot. It's in the convolution. It's in the nobody did their homework of the last 7 years of the show. They just kind of hit the reset button on the TNG crew and gave them a fancy widescreen bridge.
So you're telling me this, and yet you still say the Michael Bay movies are acceptable. These are the same
I said
arguments.
Michael Bay movie is acceptable.
Okay, any of the Michael Bay Transformers movies are acceptable. Because I make the exact same arguments about Transformers and you disagree with them. So I don't understand where you're coming from.
The Transformers lore, but I have enough
Well, there we go.
knowledge of Star Trek and Star Wars, of Star Trek lore to point out the fact that everything that everybody hates about Kurtzman Trek already happened.
Okay, then we're going to take the next 20 days and get you caught up on Transformers lore and
jeez.
then watch Michael Bay.
I was a huge fan of Armada. I wish they just did Armada.
That would have been fine. If they had done anything but G1, I would have been fine.
Pluribus boss Gordon Smith explains how that sneaky Better Call Saul cameo transpired. Alright, if you people haven't watched Pluribus on Apple TV, get ready, because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, why don't we go ahead and get ready to talk about it? I don't want to talk about this article. I want to talk about Pluribus. John, what do you think of Pluribus? You said you were...
Actually, I would go back and read the headline of the article.
Go ahead.
Pluribus. Oh wait, that's not the headline I was thinking of. Where was the one that was like? It was the first line. I don't remember. Some said the sign. The cliffhanger for episode 5. Probably the best, well done cliffhanger I've seen in a minute, and especially like compared to Severance, compared to For All Mankind, compared to Foundation, and then everything else that's not Apple TV. This cliffhanger has got me biting my hands just like SpongeBob when he's hearing the story of the Hashland Slasher. Like, oh my God, this is so tense. And the way they did it, it was a long pause. Like they were going to roll the camera over right before the cut. And instead, it's a gasp and then the cut. And still no look under the tarp. Like, that was such a tease. And so I missed last week's discussion, or 2 weeks ago's discussion, on episodes 1 through 3. And yeah, I missed a great discussion.
Yeah, you
because
did.
those 3 episodes were phenomenal. And I have no idea where this show is going, because even though I feel right in the sense that it is a Rick and Unity situation,
Yeah.
the Rick and Unity situation kind of glosses over this bit. Like, the part where Rick has to find out that Unity can be talked to and convinced. That part is the hard part to convince it. And that, like, I don't know, the hardest part is, like, I don't know if I feel bad for the main character anymore, because the Unity is losing a lot of people every time she does something crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Unity hasn't attacked her yet. So, like, for her to be so violent is a little bit like, it's human, it's realistic, but, like, I'm not really seeing her as this, like, victim of an alien invasion anymore. And I love that, because I feel like that's the biggest twist so far on this, like, type of sci-fi alien invasion story, is that, like, the good guy doesn't look so good really quickly, but at the same time, she is still technically right. Like, nobody was asked.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely got a fascinating conundrum to explore. So it hits a lot of the major sci-fi tropes and necessities of okay, what concept is this show bringing? Well, it's bringing a sort of forced assimilation, kind of like what we've seen with Star Trek's The Borg, mixed with a sort of, well...
Dude, Ted Lasso as the Borg.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually you know what? That is the perfect explanation. And man, I wish you had given me this elevator pitch earlier, because that is perfect.
Oh, that is...
Well done.
Yeah. Ted Lasso as the Borg, greenlit. That's... Oh, that's how I'm gonna get people hooked on this show. It's like Ted Lasso, but if he was the Borg Queen.
Yeah.
So, because that's exactly what this show is in a lot of ways. It's very much... I mean, it's a little bit too knowledgeable, giving away the psychology of a writer. I don't know why other writers think that's brilliant to do. Stop telling people how we think. It's not funny or brilliant. So it feels it's a little too, or I mean, it's wrong. Not even close. Miss. Makes me look like an idiot is what I'm actually trying to say. No, they definitely capture the desire for solitude. It's like, it's a weird kind of fame, sort of like, you know, I want the money, but I don't want, you know, everybody waving at me when I walk by the street. You know, and that's what she hates, is the attention. You know, she doesn't want the constant. It's like there's a time and place for celebrity attention. There's a time and place to put on the writer face and the persona, and that's for the book signings. And then, you know, the rest of the time she just wants to be left alone like normal, you know, boring human. And that's, you know, all that any of us really want as people, and even as celebrities, just want to mostly be left alone. Except maybe for Kevin Conroy. He was just the man all the time. So yeah, the show really does a good job of handling that duality of, okay, yeah, now she's being waited on, every, you know, her every need is being met, and yet she's still annoyed and doesn't want any of it because it's so just not normal. But then she wants to put everything back, but then they don't want to have everything put back because either everybody's not going to like it, or it's... There's a Star Trek episode that already dealt with this conundrum, but...
Well, no, dude, there's a ton of sci-fi that it's done with it. One, like, back to your earlier comment about don't ask a writer where they come up with most of their stuff. I was just watching a Stargate episode called Wormhole Extreme, where one of the characters, Martin, says, don't ask writers where we come up with our stuff because we don't know either. It just kind of happens. It just feels right, and we write it down, and then we get told it's not, and then we write it better, and we keep going. And
that's pretty much it.
Yep.
And like, but to that point, even more with this, like, the sci-fi conundrum, Stargate is probably the best example of it, because in Star Trek, they are the superior race. So like, whenever they meet somebody for first contact, like an actual candidate for first contact, we watch them go, oh, you guys are like Orville. Shout out to the Orville, where they're like, oh, your birth citizenship, like, you guys are really astronomically coordinated. And that has led to your ability to communicate in the stars, but you are not ready to join a regular union because you're still scared of star charts. And like, that's the opposite of this story. So now it's first contact, where the alien is coming in and saying, we'll make everything perfect. They're not wrong, because according to the entire globe that's still alive, the 90% that survive, they are all like, no, actually, we're vibing. At least that's what all of them say at the exact same time every time somebody talks to them. And so in that essence, it's like they are Starfleet talking to the dumb human from America and trying to convince her that they know better than her. And they might be right, but like, the part that throws the whole thing in a wrench is when, after the grenade scene, which I thought was so funny and so like just, it really put everything together. So like they are as smart as the smartest people on Earth, but they are Ted Lasso without any regard for individual safety above individual autonomy. So like they would never go play with grenades, but a species that wants to is allowed to. And
Right.
especially an adult female that asks for it, fine. And like that's the way they're treating it. But like in that same essence of like Starfleet coming in and just telling these people how to be, Starfleet always finds one person who's more rational than the rest that can explain society, right? And I feel like that's the Portuguese guy. Or is he Portuguese? Is Paraguay, or I thought it was Portugal, but I can't remember it for sure in episode 2 or 3. The 13th person. And
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
like he's the rational person. He's the one that saw alien invasion and locked down the fort and is avoiding them at all costs. Like does not know how to approach, and so he's waiting to find somebody with more sense to like say something. And I think at this point, like that's where the main character is on the right track, but at the same time, like picture perfect American. Like that's where it's really funny that if we remember, this is written by the Breaking Bad Better Call Saul team, not by Stargate or Star Trek, but at the same time it is Stargate and Star Trek level science fiction. And I feel like that's where their character writing really hits the nail on the head. Whereas like the Orville tried it their best, but they made the nation completely all about up votes and down votes. So it like really picked one thing in American society and said that's what the world had given into. But this show is like, no, here's an American writer who didn't get infected. And here's Ted Lasso, the Borg. And they're trying to rationalize the chaos that the Borg just caused. And the Borg is actually, was making an effort. But that's where, like, I don't know, episode 5 really threw a lot of wrenches into the game in the sense that, like, how alone they're actually leaving her. Like, also,
resistance is futile, Noodle. Anyway,
the drone. When the drone crashed, I laughed so hard.
I did too.
Is the pettiness that this Borg is doing, like Ted Lasso dropping off stuff with, like, she's like, I've been hurt. I need some time. I'll use my drones.
My feelings for you haven't changed. I just need some space.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so much funnier when it's Ted Lasso voice. Oh, man.
I've almost got the mustache for Ted Lasso. Fortunately, my beard has me cast as somebody else. Probably an extra. Yeah. Honestly, I never actually... I watched maybe one episode of the Breaking Bads and just couldn't really get into that. I understand it has a lot of good twists and turns, and everybody hates Skylar, and that's great. I just couldn't do it. Pollo Zapato says, I gotta run at 8. Well, congratulations, it's already 9.
That was insider knowledge.
Yeah.
We've been accused of insider trading. Great.
Oh no, I told the world you have to leave in 8 minutes.
No, well, more than anything, like, the Breaking Bad, like, what Breaking Bad did absolutely best is it made Bryan Cranston into a completely different human being that could still be Hal if he had the right wife. And that's where it's like, maybe Skylar was the whole problem. And that's for 8 seasons. Like, this is what happens if Hal doesn't have, I forget her name, Lois.
Yeah.
Like, if Hal didn't have Lois, we get Breaking Bad. And then Better Call Saul is just the spin-off of how destructive capabilities affecting his lawyer.
All right.
And both of them are just really just great character dramas. Like, as far as characters developing over time, the story kind of escalates, but it has a clear human cap. Like, it never gets bigger than a drug cartel because there's not much bigger in that industry. And then Better Call Saul is like that story before he runs away. I only got through season 2, maybe 1.5 of Better Call Saul. But like that one still something was like so much. Here's a character going through real life. That's a little wacky, but it's like character drama. And that's where this show is like, we can do both, and we always could have. And I'm like, yes, you can.
So, yeah. All right, real quick, John, give us your thoughts on the Ninth Jedi and Bounty Hunters from our Visions Volume 3 watch this week.
Dude, I've been waiting for this one because I have to take back what I said to Corione when he announced that Ninth Jedi was the one that got selected. Because I was like, that one was so corny, and that's the one that started the lightsaber color things. And it did start that, but it was never corny. I loved it so much rewatching it, like the first episode. And then when I got to watch the new episode, I was like, oh, that's why this show got the green light. It's so good.
I mean, I'm here for all of these so far, most of them, especially in 3.
Dude, I'm here for it, especially if, like, this is the crazy part. All Disney has to do is green light the production, because these are already paid studios with paid artists working on other things. If they could do this, they would make money doing this and send it back to Disney. And I say they would make money because I'm the consumer that would for sure consume.
Star Wars branching out more into the animated world is where it's going to be saved. That's what saved it with Clone Wars. That's what's going to save it from the Acolyte and KK's reign. Because honestly, Mando and Grogu does not look that great.
Saved. I think that's the true, like if the live action is the fruit, the animated series are the roots. Like, the animated series are the thing that actually breeds long-term love while maintaining an actual, like, order to the galaxy. Like, there are Jedi that are Yoda-level fighters. There always were. But that's not the main point of Star Wars. It's not about the power scaling. You want power scaling, go to Dragon Ball Z or One Punch. But if you want the hero's journey on steroids, and being heroic equals being a Jedi means insurmountable odds almost every week in an animated series. Like, that level of writing it's a coordinated rule set, and I feel like Visions proves that most people that love Star Wars know what the rule set is. And also, if you do this animated series, you can have the power scaling finally. Like, if we're not limited to the Clone Wars story, and we're actually back to limited to Jedi and Sith in the grand galactic battle for the universe and the Force, then suddenly, like, there's an open universe to play with. And Visions proves that on every single episode. It's ridiculous how much it proves it. Minus the Tatooine episode. But everything else.
Yeah, no, it definitely had a couple of duds, but compared to most of Disney's Star Wars, Visions is some of the best Star Wars stories that we've had since they took it over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And look,
I mean, go for
the
it,
idea, the idea that they're going to have a couple that are not, as successful to a Western audience as others is completely okay, and is almost the point of Visions, right? Is to let us make the decision on what we want to see going forward.
Yeah.
It's probably the smartest thing they've done, and putting in things that they're like, I don't know if this is going to work for a Western audience is perfect. Because, like, it's the same logic of, okay,
It's
Netflix puts out
better than
Castlevania,
assuming you-
and Netflix also puts out K-pop Demon Hunters, and they're like, okay, which one's gonna succeed? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's better than assuming that you do know what will work with Western.
Right?
Like, just accept that you don't know, and it's better to risk it because you're a $1 trillion industry,
Yeah.
mega company. So
Yep.
why not actually risk it for the proverbial biscuit that is good fans? Because like the fans are the ones that buy their kids the toys, not the kids.
That's it. You have to get adults to buy into the concept. They don't have to like it, but they have to buy in and be like, yeah, this is not offensive, right? And you have to get the kids on board. That's, if you want to make your money on toys, that's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Honestly, unless you got anything else going on, we pretty much hit all the news, and I think unless there was anything more you wanted to say about Visions.
No, I think I've kind of covered my views on Visions in the back episodes, which everybody's watching should definitely check out if you haven't already checked out, because they're really good.
Absolutely. We are going to be back next week. We are going to do more Pluribus discussion with the new episode that'll be dropping. And we are also going to be back with 2 more episodes of Visions, as well as all of whatever's happening in Hollywood. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for showing up, liking, subscribing. It has been an awesome time once more.
He's P.D. York with the Writer Brothers.
Yep.
Bye.
And music's coming up. There it is. All right. Yeah, we'll hopefully see you guys, more of you next week. And
Yeah.
we'll keep the discussion going. Please don't forget to send your suggestions to thewriterbrothers@gmail.com.
Yeah.
This has been the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers. The Writer Brothers, restoring respect in the discourse. Good night.